Happy Friday to you. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Glenn Lall Show for today, Friday, October 1, 2021. Happy new month to you. And of course, the Glenn Lall Show comes to your radio every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where Mr. Lall tell it as it is, as we continue to fight for a better Guyana. So I'll now hand things over to the man of the moment, after which he'll make his presentation, and we'll be back to take your calls. It's Friday, so of course, you know what we do on Friday. We keep it very short and sweet. So, Mr. Lall, over to you. Namaste.
Namaste, Josh. Kevin? I don't have tissue in my pocket, okay? I have the perfect suit, pocket, kerchief. Namaste, Kevin, Masaris, Bernard, namaste. Namaste. Namaste, Guyana. Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I learn. In learning, you will teach. In teaching, you will learn. Learning never exhausts the mind. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or at 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. How do I look, Kevin? Young, right? Yeah. Knowledge alone, Kevin, is not power. The sharing of our knowledge is when knowledge becomes powerful. When truth is replaced by silence, then silence becomes a big lie. Lies and more lies. That is exactly what is happening here in Guyana with our bleeders for leaders. Please don't ask me who those words belong to. I can't remember. But let me say namaste again to all of you. I love that word. When will the leaders stop this blame game in this country and start to fix the issues, the problems that faces this people? Kevin, you have an idea? I have listened to a press conference, Kevin, held last week with our president, vice president, and our silent foreign affairs secretary, Robert Passad, in New York. And I am delighted, Auntie and Uncle, to share with all of you a few clips of the most important parts of the press conference that will make you so happy, sad, or if you want, you can grin by yourself. So just relax and enjoy the flight from New York, NY to GY. Listen to our vice president at the press conference.
I suspect that EPA still needs studies done, but has moved away from this position that you need a full-fledged environmental impact assessment for it. What bothers me a lot is this newfound vigilance about environmental impact assessment. We've had an EPA that presided over issuing some of the worst work permits in the past, and we had nothing to say about it for LISA 1 and LISA 2. 25 years environmental permit was given to Exxon when the law says only 5 years you should give an environmental permit for. So the EPA has credible explanation, Mr. President. I don't think we have to do that. They can go to the EPA website. This is a regulatory body, and they will explain their own procedures, and they're following the law, and the approach is consistent with the law as far as we're concerned. So this is a crucial matter for us moving.
Thank you.
The blame game never stops, auntie and uncle, you heard the vice president. He said what bothers him a lot, that the coalition have issued permits for Lisa 1 and Lisa 2 for 25 years, when the law says you can only give a 5-year permit. And how nobody said anything about that. Wow. But he didn't tell the audience that is a concerned citizen, one of my hero, a lady called Melinda Janke, who took up that issue and got it reversed. And got it reversed through the courts. He didn't say he issued a prior permit to Exxon the same way the coalition did with Lisa 1 and 2 without any full insurance. Although he go into office in which they had a written agreement with ExxonMobil that promises us to give Guyana full insurance. But he still went ahead and issued that permit. He said nobody didn't say anything when Lisa 1 and Lisa 2 permit was issued. He and his party, when they were in opposition, didn't say a word too. But you hear him just now? He wants you to believe the blame game, that the coalition did something wrong. When he go and do the same thing. Auntie, you see the games going on in your country? He was warned to get it, the insurance to protect us. But he did worse than the coalition. What he should have told the audience is where he is hiding the prior 9 billion review that the Canadian woman did and hand over to him. Please listen again to the Vice President. Please.
But this is something that is very irksome, because sometimes people, if you have an office, you don't have to meet the head of the office every time, because he's busy. You deposit your proposal saying, I'm interested. You have staff there. You meet with the staff. People walk in. The foreigners can come and do this every day, and they're moving ahead with our projects, their projects, and they go through that mechanism. How could a person not, because he doesn't meet the head of the office, not even deposit his proposal and say, here is what I want to do, can you advise me? You know, and he has a substantial sum of money. We have to get real too. You know, sometimes our people, they need personalized attention. What we're trying to do is to make the system work.
Auntie, the question was how persons in the diaspora can invest in Guyana. Should they go to the consulate or what? Our Vice President said you can come to us directly or go to the consulate and seek advice or submit your proposal so it can be evaluated. That was the President's answer. And the Vice President, Jack Dave, you heard him, continued on that question and said you don't have to meet the head of the agency all the time. You just go in with your proposal and they will take care of you. The foreigners come and they are processed right away. They have system and the system works. Then he said, the next thing you're going to hear is that somebody would want to get their application processed and approved. This is the part that I had to laugh. Why that had to come out of his mouth? Why that he had to say those words? Nobody asked him anything about that. Not a soul. Not a single soul asked him anything about that. Because I know people who were forced to wire money into people's bank account to even get a hearing, Mr. Jagdeo. And the proof is there. And by the way, I will be sending in my project, not to the embassy over there, but to go invest here, to make some money from my oil. As you say, it is so simple. I will let you know how that goes. The next question asked to our president, is there any plan to lower taxes in Guyana? And also, is there any help for the people who are paying $1,000 for a $150 bundle Bora due to the flooding? Could you please play, Mr. President?
Because someone said this morning on our live that, for example, Bora in Guyana you pay $150, now they're paying $1,000 for the same amount.
Well, if you had a flood, just imagine that you have a flood that wipes out 80% of your food production. And at the same time, you have an increase in shipping costs of 900% for imports. Nothing that we control. The government don't control the flood. The government don't control the national shipping costs. What happens? In the United States, this morning I was looking at the program, and they were talking about the pass down costs because of shipping and logistics increases. So it is not only Guyana. So you came through a period where you had this massive flood. So the supply became less than the market, and demand did not change. So if supply becomes less, the demand does not change, automatically you will have an imbalance in terms of price. Now, what we have done, we've already started this program. We're in the second phase now, at looking at persons who have queries. We have already distributed billions of dollars in support to the farmers to go back to the crop. So that has already been done. What they're doing now is that they have a phase that if you have an issue, then you can raise those queries now, and those queries will be sorted out. That is the phase we are now in terms of the distribution. And from the next crop, things will balance out back, and the farmers will get back. And there is a time too. I mean, if you want to examine how economy works, when the farmers receive less than $20 for an entire pumpkin, when there is an oversupply, some of the farmers leave their pumpkins in the field because it's not effective to bring it to the market because of the price. They leave acres of pepper in the field because it's not effective to bring it to the market. And that is what we're trying to address. That when we have oversupply, we must have the facilities to do processing. We must have the facilities to do packaging. And that is why we're giving so much incentives for investment in agro-processing and packaging and for the food industry itself. And we're seeing more local involvement, more private sector involvement now in food production and packaging. We have large-scale proposal now for the development of the dairy industry, the livestock industry, the feed industry, agro-processing and packaging. So all of these things are taking place, but it has also to do with exogenous factors that are not in control of the government, external factors. And natural disaster. Flooding is not caused by the government, it's a natural disaster that brings shock to market. Whenever there is a hurricane or an earthquake, there's a shock to the market. And that is how economies work globally.
I am sitting here, auntie and uncle, with a new guest. And the guest is showing me some signs and was telling me he's ashamed to listen to what our president said there just now. The question was about Bora cost and lowering of taxes and the president start talking about international shipping cost and logistics. He said, just imagine if you have a flood and it wipe away 80% of the crops and you have an increase in shipping cost of 900%. He said the government doesn't control flooding, and that's true. And they don't control international shipping, that's also is true. He said the people left their produce in the fields because it is not effective to bring it to the market. Effective, uncle, is not a word. Profitable is the word, Mr. President. And it has nothing to do with increased transportation. It was a flood that destroyed the farmers' crops. That's how the Bora price went up to $1,000, because the supply was less than the demand. That's how simple that question was. Then he went on to talk over supply of peppers and pumpkin. And when you have that on your hand, you have to have proper processing and packaging facilities. And that is why we are offering so much incentives to the people. Mr. President, uncle and auntie, let me remind you guys of this. Mr. President, your government spent $12.5 million on the Enmore packaging plant. What is there to show for that money, and what benefit Guyana got out of it? What is being packaged with all that money that was spent? The man who initiated that project was Robert Prasad. He was the Minister of Agriculture at the time. And he was sitting right next to you at that press conference, Mr. Ali. Why didn't he say something? Auntie, these are some of the things, Guyana, you guys don't know of or can't remember. But it sticks in my memory of what they have done to your country with those types of projects. They have built many other processing facilities all over this country that has cost this nation billions. Ask Robert Prasad what they have all become today. Oh no, I'm sorry. I forget Mr. Ali. Robert Prasad got a very bad memory. He can't remember who the Kanji and Kaieteur oil blocks were given to. I forget. Sorry about that. Our president was very happy, uncle, to announce that incentives, sweet deals, are being given to foreign people coming here now to do packaging and processing in the dairy and livestock and other food industries. Why the incentives and sweet deals weren't given to the local people to do the same things years ago now, Mr. President? Mr. President said that now they're getting the application for large-scale livestock and dairy packaging and processing investments. Why the local people weren't given these options before, so they could be far ahead of the game? What was the answer, Mr. President? What was the answer you give to the question as to the lowering of taxes? He said nothing about that, auntie and uncle. You guys heard him just now. Then the vice president jumped in to back him up. And this is what he had to say. Could you please play that thing?
The president has just laid out all the opportunities that he's trying to open up for our country. He's laid out that we want to move Guyana from a per capita GDP of $6,000 to $30,000 in this decade. To do so, people have to make use of the opportunities. If our diaspora has this mindset about the price of Bora only moving. That, especially if of course, as the president is, if you are flooding, everything will die, the price will go, it's seasonal, when people plant again, then the prices would come down. But you're losing sight of the billions of dollars of opportunities that others are seeing and coming to Guyana for. The oil and gas industry alone will generate about 30 to 40 billion US dollars of supportive investment to service that industry. He's laid out all the other sectors. Our diaspora keeps talking about the price moving, and in your programs too, this is not meant to be disparaging. People have to help us, especially people who are on these TV programs, radio programs, to direct them to those opportunities, to say we can't be complaining forever or else we'll miss out. The president is now directed that we pass legislation on local content in the oil and gas industry. We're having special carve-outs for Guyanese, transportation, logistics, rentals, all of these, the oil companies can only source these services from Guyanese. That represents billions of US dollars of opportunities for our people. And we still complain about, I didn't get my flood relief yet, although $50 million have been, US dollars have been given out. Of course, you have a few people who will juke the system and some who may not get through because you're talking about 75,000 people receiving it. But we
I was cracking up, guys. He said the president just laid out all the opportunities trying to open the country so that we can move from 6,000 to 30,000 per capita in this decade. Wow, Mr. Jagdeo. Words without action, words without merit, words without a vision, without a plan, without a strategy, words without nothing to substantiate or back it up. It's only meant for fools. How are we going to get 30,000 per capita, Mr. Jagdeo? Lay that out. Lay it out for us to see. Mautar and guitar is two different tar, uncle and auntie. The PPP and the coalition has been promising the moon and the stars since independence. And we got 2.2 billion US dollars debt since Noah Bill Ark. And they're adding on to it as the days go by, paying fat interests on it, and can't service the loans unto now. We still living on borrow money day after day, and borrowing more and more. And this financial guru, the Vice President Jagdeo, telling us we gonna move from 6,000 per capita to 30,000 per person. Giving away all your oil, your gold and your diamond, your bauxite to foreign companies, and your life gonna move up with no evidence whatsoever to show. I love this country, man. And I love y'all, auntie and uncle. He jumped in that press conference and repeating what the president talking about, Bora price. Man, something is wrong in this country. A president and a vice president running an oil-rich country, $1 trillion business, is spending more than half an hour at a press conference and talking about Bora, pepper and pumpkin, okra and shrimp. I love you guys, man. You heard them yourself in your own words, auntie and uncle. You know when you send a baby to climb a coconut tree, the baby just fall down and dead. and you the dead behind the baby. That is what you, the citizens of this country, is doing to yourself. It's not Africa all over again. It's a million times worse than Africa. Already happening in front of your eyes. If you guys don't wake up, if you don't listen carefully to these nonsensical things, words that pitch out these people's mouth with no value. The Vice President said we are losing sight of billions of US dollars in opportunities that the foreigners are grabbing up. Where is the opposition? Where are all these opportunities, Mr. Vice President? That is what the people of Guyana want to know. Don't tell us about 30, 40 billion US dollars available in the oil and gas industry through this supply chain. Tell the nation how they can get in that. Tell me how I can buy 2 supply boats to make that 55,000 US dollars a day work or no work. Tell the nation how they can also get involved. Know what, Mr. Vice President? ExxonMobil was proud to announce just the other day that they will be providing the supply services not only for the Stabroek Black them own, but the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks too. So where is this 30, 40 billion US dollars opportunities? Where is that available for the citizens? For me and all the Guyanese people? Tell us, Mr. Jagdeo. You heard the Vice President, brothers and sisters, say that the people in the TV and the radio program should help them. And we should also help the people as to the opportunities that are available to them, or else we're going to all lose out. Mr. Vice President, it has been over 6 years now my newspaper has not gone without a single story per day on oil, without exposing the ills, the wrongs, and advantages being taken on the Guyanese people with what these foreigners has done and still continue to do to us in this entire sector, the oil sector. The oil sector alone, uncle, I can list over 1 million things that we would have written about that is wrong, and neither you, Mr. Vice President, who is heading the oil sector, have responded to anything we have said. And so is the opposition leaders too. You know, I have this radio program going on over a year now. And once you have come and sit with me, and nothing was fruitful and truthful that came out of that program. I remember doing a special program responding to everything you said. The very next day, and it was aired, you never responded. I have been begging you, President Ali, Mr. Granger, the opposition leader Harman, and all the rest of the leaders to come. Let's clarify, let's clear the air, let's educate the nation as to what to expect or what they can benefit as the owners of this wealth. And none of you have ever accepted those invitations. Instead, you all choose to go and sit down with some comedians to discuss this country's $1 trillion business. I am so ashamed to call their names. But I think by now all Guyana know what's going on and who you guys go sit down with and talk to. It was so shameful that the Guyanese people had to listen to a foreigner asking you, Mr. President, a question about what is there in the oil sector for us, still in Texas. And you know what? We heard what you say. 400 million US dollar we get in is not enough. And how the citizens of this country will have to live with that for quite a while into the future. Till at Texas, we had to hear you go there. And a white fella had to ask you that question, what is there for Guyana? You don't have the nerve. You don't have a face. You don't have words or the lips to come on the radio and talk to your own people and tell them. No. You know why? I know why. And this nation will know why very soon. You know, Auntie and Uncle, if only we begin with the exam contract that Raphael Trapman says he was instructed to sign, that has a clause that gives us the right to change it. If we change it, we would have never been living like this. Living with borrow money, paying fat interest, and to pay salaries and run this country. Mr. Jagdeo, why don't we begin by asking for a renegotiation of the contract? These are the questions you gotta tell the nation why you're so silent on it. After all, it was in the PPP's 2020 manifesto that all of you campaigned on. You even went as far as to say that if you get a couple lawyers and a week, just a week, you will do a better job with the contract. Is what happened now, Mr. Vice President. You're heading the sector, and you know if you get a better deal on it, every home can collect no less than $1 million a month. You know that. You know if you fix those inflated US millions, Guyana losing every day with those supply boats. The price we're paying on those rentals of properties, transportation cost, another 500 US can go in every home monthly. Yes, Auntie and Uncle, that's the kind of money you are losing out. And if we correct the billions being spent on exploration, searching for oil, yes, searching for oil, we're spending billions. Maybe another million can be added to the homes every month, to each homes in this country every month. Vice President, if you put in that ring fencing provision that all the experts warning us to fix, Mr. Jagdeo, another million can be added to every home monthly. Mr. Jagdeo, I can list so many things, like I said, that can be fixed or corrected so that this nation can get their rightful share to live the king's life, not beggar's life. I'll keep back some of them for when you come on the program. But let me ask you this last question. This last one. The laws of Guyana dictates that every single individual, every business, corporations or entities pay their taxes. Why not ExxonMobil and the rest of the oil companies? Why? Everybody pay taxes. Why? Mr. Jagdeo, Mr. President Ali, if the people of this country get the taxes from the oil alone, then every household can get an additional $2 million added to every home. You care to come on the radio to talk about these things, seeing that you asked for help? I am inviting you, all of you, officially now, again. And I am willing to allow you to come every day and let us discuss, debate, or talk about how to correct these issues. Come on, Jagdeo. Come on, Mr. Ali and Harmon. It is not fair to the people of this country what you guys doing to them. They need their fair share of their wealth. And I also need my fair share too. Miss Harris, you need yours? Mr. Kevin, you need yours?
Absolutely.
Yes, we need ours. Mr. Jagdeo said that special legislation is going to put in place so that the Guyanese people can benefit from local content with transportation services and logistics and so forth. That is the tune, Uncle and Auntie. These bleeders for leaders have been singing for the last 6 years now, and to date we don't even have a draft local content policy in place, much less the legislation. Mr. Jagdeo, you know who's doing all the local content work right now. You know it fully well. Just find out if there's any space for any Guyanese. I think the whole Guyana would like to have a few trucks, boats, supply centers, helicopters, ready to add their names to the list. Come and explain this on the radio, how they can benefit from it. I told you guys many times before, the trainees took over the local content already. Listen this one. Uncle, Auntie, I am smiling. Today's Friday. I gotta leave you guys. I'm gonna take a coconut water and vodka. But listen to me carefully. We are telling a story tomorrow in which the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce is now joining Lall saying it. This is the headline. Local businesses being neglected. Foreign companies being given preferences. Read it in the Kaieteur News. You can read it too, Mr. Ali and Mr. Jagdeo and Harmon. He went on to say how the government give flood relief of over $50 million and how some of the people complaining how they didn't get the flood relief money. Again, he said, there will be a little joking going on. Yes, Mr. Jagdeo. A lot of joking went on because there are some people who came to Kaieteur News that really suffered and complained how they didn't get anything. And they have proof to show you that people who wasn't affected get the money. They are from Mahaica. You care to help them, Vice President? I can give you the numbers, just give me a call. Please, please, listen to President Ali.
So, the second phase, I mean, you have an entire ministry that's dealing with this. But what I know the policy is that we are the second phase, and whatever inquiries are made or would be assessed, if there is someone who was missed in the initial phase and they are verified, they will be assessed and they will receive the benefit. That is what I can say to you. And the system is designed to do justice. In this phase, it is to look at all the complaints, look at all the requests, make that assessment, and then implement. That is the direction that has been given to them. I can't say how many would have come in or if any came in at all. Yes, and the resources is there, has already been earmarked. It is within that $10 billion that we earmark for this program, and we pass in the supplementary provision. So the resources is there for this already. In terms of the size and type of investment, you will appreciate that that we're dealing with sophisticated investors. First of all, we're talking about some of the largest players in the banking system, etc. If you give them a chance, from what I heard, to be honest with you, they will finance everything. They want to do everything that we have to offer. They want to finance all the public sector projects. They want to finance all the private sector projects. We have to tame that expectation and to make a point to them that there are certain carve-outs for locals. And the type of investment we want to see must include locals. It must have a local content component. We encourage them to partner with local businesses, the local private sector. Because what we have seen from the interest in Guyana, that if they get the opportunity, they will suck up the entire market overnight. There is huge interest, and that is what I want to reinforce from what the Vice President said. They are seeing the opportunity from financing projects, housing and construction, and a new city. Sometimes in Guyana, when I speak about a new city, you get the impression from the media that this is a fairy tale land. They are hungry to invest in a new city. Some of them even brought conceptual design of the new city, what the new city should entail. That is the excitement that is coming to Guyana. And that is the energy that is coming to us, that we have to transform in our thinking and the way we operate locally. So we have to tame a lot of the expectation and create a narrative that we are strongly believe in, that it must be also for Guyana, with Guyana.
Brothers and sisters, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have given you the question asked before our president speak. But let me just tell you the question. He was asked, what is the largest, most significant proposal that has come to him? That was the question. And he went on to say, the terms and size of investment. The world wants to come, and you must know that. He said every banking institution wants to throw money here to finance every project and everything. That was the answer he gives. Mr. Ali, where there is sugar, ants will follow. Where there is sweetness, every man does run. The dancing girls. You doesn't want to wine with them? Yeah, man. President Ali went on to say, we have got to let them know that there are certain types of investment that belongs to the locals. And we have to focus on what we are doing before the foreigners suck it all up. As for now, Mr. Ali, they already suck up everything. Trinidad, not Trini, Trinidad has been the supplier to ExxonMobil. Out of Trinidad to the oil rigs out there since the operation began out there. You never tell the nation that, Mr. Ali, but Kaieteur News did. I am still happy though that your train of thought is in the right direction, because there are lots more that is left there for us to get a piece of. Keep that train of thought. You're doing a good job. But let's see where the Guyanese people stands down the road. We will be watching with our eyes wide open. Then the president went on to say, The foreigners are not only seeing the opportunities for housing and construction alone, but a new city. I laugh all the time when I hear that. When you were talking just now, I was smiling here. Went on to talk about a new city. The foreigners are so excited to build at Ogle. He said when he talked about it, he gets the impression that it's a fairy tale land he's talking about. He said the foreigners are hungry to invest. You heard him. That some of them even bring designs for the new city. What the new city should entail. That's the excitement the foreigners have for Guyana. I wonder, just wonder if the president knows who will own and benefit from that new, beautiful city. And whose money will be paying for that. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Auntie and Uncle, is our money. They will be creaming off by the billions of US dollars to pay for that. Mr. President, is our oil money. They don't size up for the next 50 years in which they're going to make 50 times their investments. Any Guyanese will be part of that new city, Mr. President. And by the way, what are the concessions, the tax waivers you give them? Because I am certain that there are lots of Guyanese in and out of Guyana that can invest more than these foreigners to bring about a more beautiful city in which we all as Guyanese can benefit, if they're given the same concessions and tax waivers. How about that, Mr. Ali? Could you play the next piece there for me?
Well, let me say this. To answer that question would be unfair. It would be unfair to every sector because every sector has really performed well. But the one accomplishment we are particularly proud of as a party is the way we came together as a country to protect democracy, to ensure that our country remains on a democratic path. That is the accomplishment we are so proud of from the diaspora and from Guyanese. It is this type of vigilance that will ensure our country remains safe and stable.
I made another mistake, sorry about that. Another question was asked to Mr. Ali. And the question was, what is one accomplishment he is proud of since in office? Could you please play back the tape? Yes.
To answer that question would be unfair. It would be unfair to every sector because every sector has really performed well. But the one accomplishment we are particularly proud of as a party is the way we came together as a country to protect democracy, to ensure that our country remains on a democratic path. That is the accomplishment we are so proud of from the diaspora and from Guyanese. It is this type of vigilance that will ensure our country remains safe and stable. So I have to point to one thing, not an accomplishment, but one thing that we're particularly proud of, it will be this.
Yes, one accomplishment, just one accomplishment. I'm so happy that question went to him, you know, because that's one of the questions I've been asking for 1 year now to the entire Guyana to name something, right, that you're very proud of, right? And I'm glad this question, I just love this question put to him, right? You guys heard, he began by answering the question saying that it will be unfair. It will be unfair because all the sectors did well.
Wow.
Let me ask the people of this country,
Exactly.
and you, Mr. Ali, the nurses, the police, the public servants, the soldiers, the teachers, and everyone else, lives get any better? Has the country improved? The reason I'm asking that is because we are still living on borrowed money. Not true, Mr. Ali? Our president said the one accomplishment he's proud of as a party is the way we come together as a country to protect democracy. And ensure that the country remains on a democratic side, free from danger.
Wow.
That's the only thing he's proud of and accomplished. What has he done? What has he done, or his party did, to safeguard democracy? If we didn't have the international bodies on the streets every day, and if we didn't have Kaieteur news and the press, some of the press,
Yes.
you know, you hear me? Democracy had gone. He would have never been sitting there as president.
Yes.
But he given himself big kudos
Yes.
for he and his party.
His accomplishment. Yeah.
What a Guyana. I love this place. I love this place. Then, as the host closed the program, the vice president jumped in and tried to answer the accomplishment question for our President Ali. And this is what he had to say too.
Here,
Go ahead, Mr.
because
President.
it's so phenomenal. But maybe, or maybe some other interview should list all of this.
We'll probably do
You want to
that.
do a couple of because we don't want to go away. Next thing is Guyana, they will say, oh, Ali didn't say anything about the achievements of the government.
We reversed all the taxes that took away money from people's pocket. We have reversed the increases in land fees, for example. All the license fees, hundreds of license fees that we don't talk about, that were increased, we have reversed all of that. We have reversed back on a lot of essential goods and services. We have reversed back on interland travel. We have utilities. The VAT was added on electricity and water. We have reversed that. We have given back the children grant, the children's school grant, the uniform grant. We increased the old age pension. We have reinvested in health care. For example, we had, when we came into government, billions of dollars of expired drugs and medical supplies in a bond that had to be dumped. And guess what? Whilst that had to be dumped, the system had less than 10% of essential drugs. The entire healthcare system had less than 10% of the essential drugs that was needed. Today, the last report I received just before we left the country is on 97%. That 97% of all the essential drugs is available in the healthcare system. Those are changes. Those are things we don't talk about. We talk about the big things, and we're talking about. I'm not even talking about the roads, the investment in agriculture, the support to the sugar workers, and the support to the public service, the return of the thousands of jobs to Amerindians, the return of the presidential grant.
I laughed again. Vice President Jack Dale said that Ali should list some of the accomplishments because they don't want to walk away. And people will say this and say that. And we didn't answer the question. So Ali came back and said, and talked about his accomplishment. He said he reversed the increased land fees. Hundreds of licensing fees. He reversed the VAT on essential goods and services. Guys, he talking about reversing the VAT on bread, rice and dal. He reversed VAT on water and electricity. He said he gave back the school grants and increased old age pensions to $2 more, maybe. He talked about increasing the supply of drugs to the health sector. He said when they took office, they discovered a lot of expired drugs. That is their accomplishments. Reversing and recycling words from one leader to another leader. He said before they left the country, last week, he got a report that the hospital got 97% of all the drugs needed. This is their accomplishment. That is what these guys are proud of. Huh? In $1 trillion US dollar oil business. Mr. Ali, what you should have told us is who's getting all the contracts to supply and bill all them projects and what price we're paying. The hog of the drug money is going to one man hand. Just only one man. And all the contracts are going to just a few people. Few private contractors. This is accomplishment, Guyana. Those are the things they don't talk about. This is the accomplishment. This is their accomplishment. It is so sad that nothing whatsoever has been said during that press conference about anything substantial, any development that our people and our country can be proud of. And this is the country. This is a country, the second largest, that holds the second largest oil reserves per capita in the world today. $1 trillion US business. These chaps talking about sugar workers and patch roads, pepper, pumpkin and Bora. That is what our leaders talking about. It's sad, uncle. It's very sad, auntie. You guys heard them for yourself. And on the other hand, the opposition, all of them are silent. Silence is a badge of fraud. Silence is a badge of fraud. Since them come back from NY to GY, not a single press conference was held to update any one of us. Remember he said to sit back, relax and enjoy the flight. Did you guys enjoy the trip? I hope you did. Extreme danger lurks ahead. You cannot put babies to chop cane or climb coconut tree. You can't put children who ain't finished primary school to run $1 trillion oil business. God bless all of you. Namaste. And do have a great weekend. I'll take 2-3 phone calls before I go to my vodka and coconut water. You got any calls there? I did tell you guys, no matter where they go and speak, the Guyanese people will hear everything they say and they do. Because Lall and his crew has big mouth and loud ear, or loud mouth and big ears. Twitch it, turn it, anyhow you want. I still love all of you. You have any phone call there? Can somebody give me some water, please? My gosh, I'm tired. I am so tired. It's sad. It's sad, Bernard. Yes? Take it.
Go ahead.
Good night. You're live on the air. What's your contribution?
Hi, Mrs. Harris. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
How is Mr. Lall doing, and how is my friend over there doing?
He is
Everybody
excellent.
else, how-
He's eager to hear what your question is about tonight's
My
show.
question to Mr. Glenn Lall is that he called these corrupted leaders, he called them leaders. In fact, they don't know the terminology of leaders. Leaders are, and it's very good to point out that one of your reporters the other night said these guys are not leaders. Leaders are Mr. Nelson Mandela, Mr. Mahatma Gandhi, Mr. Martin Luther King, and our famous our famous Mr. Chetty Jagan. These guys are willing to take a bullet for the people of Guyana. Ask these guys that they call leaders if they are willing to take a bullet for their people, or they're willing to give a bullet to the people of Guyana who speak out against them.
That's a good one. Hold on. I think he's.
My
he's
friend,
gonna respond.
hold a second. Hold a second. That's a lovely question and an answer. But I want to add a piece to your answer. We have leaders or bleeders who are willing to send a bullet to you, who are speaking the truth, who wants to get the best out of their own wealth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
They
sir.
wouldn't take no bullet for nobody.
But they will give a bullet to you for speak out, sir.
Well, they would want to, if they can.
So my next question to you, sir, is that all the companies from Trinidad in Guyana, they're all a bunch of kids that in the oil sector that you and I can teach them a few things. And they call themselves exports. But yet they're in Guyana doing business like Rams Logistic. He's no more than 25, 24-year-old. Triple D, who is like a little kid that he will change his diaper yesterday, and he called himself an expert in oil and gas sector. But yet they're bamboozling our people in Guyana, and they're taking over the sector. Where is your so-called leaders?
That's a beautiful topic too. Listen, what all these people doing is basic things, bro. They just install terms and conditions onto us in our ears, making us believe that this thing is so technical that Guyanese can't do it. And everything we
It's a whole
see,
lot of bullshit.
and everything we see, driving trucks, fetching pipes, fetching cement,
Exactly.
chemicals, floating boats, loading boats. These are things that the world knows how to do it. Every single Guyanese know how to do it. So what?
Mera naam Joker. These guys are Joker.
No, but our leaders are buying into these things too. And they're not saying anything.
I just told you, Mr. Glenn Lall, I just referring to what leaders are supposed to be. One of your reporter the other day brought up a very important point. These are not leaders. These are bleeders. Can you use the word bleeders instead of leaders?
Yep.
Yes, I do use it because some of them are bleeders rather than leaders.
Mr. Glenn Lall, you can't change. Mr. Glenn Lall, you can't change a leopard spot. Everyone know who was Irfan Ali when he was in the housing. He was trading a beautiful woman for something that I cannot explain on the air in order for them to gain something. This corrupted, illegal Alibaba.
No, you gotta careful with your accusations
I am being
before.
very careful, but I know exactly what he was doing, and people knows it in the street. I am not saying anything
I
else.
could tell you for one, I could tell you for sure. He was running the Ministry of Housing accounts with lead pencil. With lead pencil.
Yes.
That is factual.
So why is it that Junior Sami and all these other guys are running around in Guyana with trucks and building our city hall that Guyanese are not capable of building? What's going on, my brother?
That's a good one.
That's a beautiful question. I
Beautiful.
touched on it.
We have the Chinese remodeling the iconic City Hall.
JSG is Judas, we taking over Guyana.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have one more question for you guys.
Go ahead.
You mentioned before that this guy, Mr. Passad, Robert Passad, who have amnesia, that he can't remember who owned that I block in the ocean that belongs to the people of Guyana. Remember what I'm saying? Belongs to the people of Guyana, not an individual. Ramutar claimed that he don't remember who he signed the contract, the oil block to. If a third party have to run in Guyana, and the third party is very successful in winning the election, would that third party bring back that oil block for the people of Guyana rather than an individual who makes millions of dollars signing an agreement with Exxon for them to what do you call it, to find oil in that block? I forgot the word. Sir?
I think I get your question.
For me, please.
I think I understand you clearly. If you get leaders, new leaders with a couple ounces of brain,
Conscience and integrity.
yes, we can claw back a lot out of what was given away.
It was illegally given away. Illegal.
In the first place, like my colleague is saying here, it was an illegal transaction. And every illegal transaction, there's a way out for it. But nobody is doing anything about it. As a matter of fact, that was one of the first questions asked to the Vice President at his first press conference.
Just remember, he's amnesia too.
At his first press conference, and you know what he said? He said he will look at the way the two oil blocks were signed away, and initiated an investigation. But he bring in the word but he don't think so far what he saw anything wrong
Illegal.
or anything illegal was done. So right there, the question he asked, he gave an answer. So you know we will not get anywhere with those oil blocks.
How you can put a cat to watch over a milk and you telling the cat the milk is not good? In other words, Mr. Jack Dale may be part of what's going on, and that's why he's not looking into it, because the previous administration also was supposed to make this clear. If Ramutar claimed that he don't recall this is grounds for that oil block to come back for the people of Guyana, not for an individual, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I understand what the gentleman is saying. He raised a very valid point.
Yeah.
But President
Listen,
Ramutar
and
said, but
one more answer to you, my brother.
hold man, hold please, hold. Mr. Ramutar said he had a few files on his desk before the 2020 elections, and Robert Passad came to him and said, Chief, you got to get rid of these files. And he did ask Robert if everything is okay. And Robert, the natural resource minister at the time, says yes, fine. And he signed it away. The man did say that. So he took Robert Passad's word.
Yeah, okay.
And when you ask, and when the question was put to Robert said he doesn't know. A matter of fact, Robert Passad put blame now on GGMC. And say how he can't remember who were the players, who get them,
This
and
is
who
This is my final question, my brother, and then I'm done. My final question to you is that if these political looters and stealers win the next election, you better start building a home for all your leaders because they all need psychiatric help. You, including me and all your followers.
Yeah.
Because something has to be wrong with the system if these political corrupted leaders win the next election. I think it's time for a third party to come clean with the people of Guyana and get this corrupted system over with.
Thank you.
People to live happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good night, boys and girls.
You talk about building psychiatric homes. We don't need to build psychiatric homes. They're not crazy. They're not stupid.
Exactly.
You need to build jails to throw them all in.
The African thing.
Jails you have to build, not psychiatric facilities. That's what is needed in this land.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I have somebody sent a question saying that Mr. Lall, when you listen to our leaders, are you not scared that these are the individuals who are responsible for the lives of nearly 1 million people?
Exactly. I cried in my soul almost every day in my editorial meeting as you hear these topics and these issues and stories that pops up.
Yeah.
You know, like when you hear a laborer, we are carrying that story tomorrow. A laborer working with working in the mines get laid off, and he didn't have nothing to eat. He went down the river to get some fish, and he
Yeah.
left stranded. He was waiting on a boat to pass to pick him up. The boat picked him up, and that is the boat that turned topples. He and one of the passengers died in the boat. They found his body today.
Wow.
It is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad that the guy had to go away to catch fish to feed his family and couldn't get back home. He was waiting on a boat. We're carrying that story tomorrow. You know? It is sad to hear that a man driving through Po Drain yesterday, and two boys on a bicycle lashed his car. He stopped and came out and was asking them, why you hit my car? You know, they beat the man and robbed him.
My God.
Yeah. It's sad when you hear all these things that's happening in this country.
The 19-year-old electrician that got killed for a chain.
Exactly.
A gold chain.
A 19-year-old,
A young man knows.
We're living in the city of El Dorado. Why
Yeah.
are people killing people for gold?
a gold chain, a
This
fine
day
gold
and
chain on
age.
his neck.
A teenager.
And this is a country with $1 trillion US business going on in gold alone, in oil alone.
Yeah.
I didn't include diamond, bauxite, manganese, ore, timber. I didn't include that.
Let me get a quick question for you.
Yes.
Where is our opposition leader? He's getting a salary still, right? Is he
Exactly.
Is he doing anything? At least say what you can of Mr. Jagdeo. When Mr. Jagdeo was the opposition leader, he was having press conference once a week. You were seeing him in press conference,
Once a day.
right?
Well, you
Where-
see, the reason you're not hearing from them is because they cannot come out in the open and speak. They know whatever they say will be explained to the nation via this entity.
But maybe you should stop paying him his salary if he's not working as opposition leader. Why are we paying him his salary for?
Who's going to stop paying him? They're all in the same boat, my friend.
Everybody's in the same boat. That means we have to stop the president
That's
and
how-
vice president and these
that's-
ineffective ministers too.
Exactly.
Because nobody's doing a good
He's not
job.
showing any opposition. If
It's
you're
not
opposition
just
leader, you
them.
should be showing
Nobody's doing a
opposition.
good job.
If-
No,
None
but
of
he's
them are
not the-
doing a good
He's not the
job.
opposition leader.
They're talking about an oil sector and you have people discussing Bora and pepper.
No. Okay, we all know that. But
Bernard.
if you're opposition leader, he's not giving any opposition at all.
Sir,
He's not representing anybody.
Sir, I just said, if all of them is in one boat,
Yes.
where you think Guyana is heading?
Down
It
the,
is-
we
it-
already down the fall.
We are heading
Down the fall.
with that one boat mentality, my friend.
Yeah.
It has happened all over in Africa, where the opposition and the government band together and take a little here and take a little there, hold one head, their families and their friends are okay, and hundreds of millions of Africans are living with 200 Guyana dollars a day. Did I say namaste?
Yep.
Have a great weekend once again, and God bless all of you. I'm going to drink some coconut water. Thank you for listening.